Are you a racist?
No, is the one word answer to that question. But I say it like a part of me hurts that this is a question that is on the table. Now, it comes up in my foreign policy stances, comes up in other areas. I am candid. And I believe the way we're going to reunite this country is through radical candor. And I go into this also acknowledging, Kathy, part of being a thinking person is you should have your own convictions while at every step be open to having your mind changed along the way. So I expect the people around me and in this country and our fellow citizens to be candid too. By the way, I think that's how we secure peace abroad. That's some of the foreign policy alleged critiques of my positions, is that I'm a realist. But in every domain, for a campaign whose slogan is truth, and it is, that's what we're going to do in the way we lead this country, I am very candid about my views. But I think that while in the short run, on issues relating to race in particular, that has created some, I think some controversy, I guess you could say. The case where I was talking about Ayanna Pressley, and it was a moment of candor. I'm giving a speech.
So.
I said, but it reminds me, I said, might as well be a modern grand wizard of the KKK that would say you can't say something because of the color of your skin. That stoked controversy. In the short run, I think that it might have the effect of being perceived as divisive, but in the longer run,
it opens up conversation.
It opens up conversation and honesty and candor. And anytime, like we've heard in the expressions, corporate settings or otherwise that I've been in, let's have an honest conversation about race. That to me is the signifier of saying, okay, we are not going to have you. Better shut up and keep it to yourself.
Read it.
Exactly.
Here's your
and
script.
that's your
Read
honest conversation about race.
So, because generally, you're on the Breakfast Club and some of these other places, and they're like, well, have you ever hired a black person? Do you have any black people on your team? Tell me. And it forces you to have to answer their question.
I hate doing that.
And I'm thinking, well, let me tell you what I think when I see it. I know you. You would have never hired me to check a box.
Forget that.
Right? And it diminishes me. I feel a little cheapened. You hired me because I'm good. I am really good.
Yes,
I'm one of the
that.
best at what I do as far as getting on the grassroots. And when I hear people like, well, tell me, do you like black people?
Okay.
Do you have anyone in your
staff do you have?
It cheapens what my value, and it cements what I hear you talk about all the time of one of the reasons why you want to draw a line through affirmative action, right? Because I am in this position, which quite frankly in the Republican Party you don't see a whole lot of people like me, but you brought me on, not because of the color of my skin, but because I am really good at what I do.
Exactly.
And when I hear people say, well, list for me, how many people do you have? It cheapens what I believe I've accomplished.
And it hurt. That's why it hurts me. And it so happens that when I think about my business career, Kathy, it wasn't until I get pressed with these questions that you think about it. But actually, I have hired successful black executives. But I didn't see it as checking that box. And so when somebody's asking me that question in the Breakfast Club, there were 2 points that were equally cringeworthy for me.
Yeah.
One of them didn't have to do with race, but it was the same feeling, which is why I'm bringing it up, which is, tell me what you did for student council in junior high school.
Because I remember telling my teacher that really.
So let's even put her to one side because she was off base. But the same factor that, okay, I mean, was I involved in civic activities in high school? Yes, I was. But it is so pathetic for me to talk about those accomplishments because that's not what matters. If you're going to look at my biography, there's other parts of my biography that matter more than that. It's the equivalent of that feeling when somebody says, well, tell me, are you a racist? And if not, have you hired black people? It's like, no, I'm not a racist. And yes, I've hired black people, but I don't feel like talking about it because it almost automatically validates the premise of the question that we're dignifying it with that response. And so then my reluctance to do that then gets painted into, well, is that more divisive because he's not paying attention to an agenda of inclusiveness? Right. And so in the short run, I acknowledge that it may create the appearance of greater controversy, some of the things that I have to say in the way that I say them. But I'm committed to a more united country, regardless of the color of our skin,